That was Riding Home with the Reader. We are live off the floor, and welcome to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM and online at covefm.com. Tonight, I am featuring the talents and music of Darren Arsenault and Afraaz Mulji.
Hello there. How you doing? Very nice to be here. All right, shall we play a tune?
Go for it.
All right, this is called Trying Ain't Enough. One, two, three. Well, I've been looking at my window and watching the darkness fall. Well, I've been looking at my window and watching the darkness fall. Well, deliver me, sweet mercy, from it all. Out on the road, so hard to watch you go. Well, out on the road, so hard to watch you go. Well, I love you so much, I don't think you'll ever know. Trying ain't enough. Well, you got to work your stuff. You wanna win and never lose. That's what you choose. Lose your blues. Well, I'm standing at my door where the wind come howling in. Well, I'm standing at my door where the wind come howling in. But each tear of prayer that you come back again. Trying ain't enough. Well, you got to work your stuff. You wanna win and never lose. If that's what you choose. Lose your blues. Well, alone in the darkness, if that's how it must be. Well, alone in the darkness, if that's how it must be. Oh, please, somebody, come and rescue me. Trying ain't enough. Well, you got to work your stuff. You want to win and never lose, if that's what you choose. Lose your blues. Thanks, you guys. Thank you kindly.
And that one was called Trying Ain't Enough, written by Darren Arsenault, but performed by Darren and Afraaz, who are in the studio with us tonight. I'm going to start you off, Darren, with the first question.
Sure.
And in going over your biography, it says that you originally hailed from Toronto. How did you wind up in Nova Scotia?
I think there was a girl involved.
Isn't that how most stories start?
Yeah, I came down here for vacation in '83,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a good one.
Still on permanent vacation, are you?
Yeah, just I met up with some folks in Halifax, and had a buddy that I was visiting down here, and we hung out for a while, and ended up just falling in love with the place and the people, and got an apartment with a bunch of folks in the city, and
Mhm.
just actually, and I I knew I wanted to stay here for a while, so I actually went out and got myself a carpentry job, and was gonna get all set up and do that, and used to go busking in Toronto for like pizza money on Yonge Street,
Yes.
and just for a lark, I took my old banjo out of my case and went down to the Clyde Street liquor store in Halifax and
Mhm.
took it out and started busking just to see what would happen. And well, danged if I didn't make like 65, 70 bucks an hour, and stayed there for several hours and phoned up my new boss the next day saying I found another job, and was a professional busker in Halifax for about a decade or so.
Oh, that's excellent. And then you moved down to the South Shore after that, did you?
Well, moving forward in time, I think it was about while we were heading. Me and a buddy. I was in a band. I don't know if any of our listeners will remember the Cooter family. Nobody in this room apparently does, but it was a fun band. We were a jug band, and we were takeoff on the Carter family.
Mm-hmm.
And we all had our fictitious names. It was Vern Cooter, Scooter Cooter, and Bonnie Lou Cooter, Zebediah Cooter. And I was either going to be Merle or Hank, so I chose Merle. Big Haggart fan. So, and me and my buddy Scooter Cooter, we decided we'd branch off. We were going to try and head out to Expo 87, I guess it was. Was it 87 or 86? I don't know. We never made it there. But I was looking for car parts in the bargain hunter for my truck, which I was trying to make roadworthy to get out to BC. And I came across this ad, land for sale, $3,000, Farmington, Nova Scotia. So I phoned the number up and I said, yeah, hey there, mister, is there a zero missing on that there ad? And he says, no, $3,000, come on down and have a look at her. And I went down and had a look at her and ended up buying it. And that's how I ended up living in the South Shore. Happily ever after.
Well, that's excellent. We're glad that you decided to settle down this way and that we get to take advantage of listening to your music this evening.
I haven't settled down yet.
Haven't settled down yet. And joining you tonight is Afraaz Mulji. And Afraaz, you come from a little bit further than Toronto, I'm guessing. You're originally from Tanzania. How did you wind up making your way to Nova Scotia?
Well, I'd been traveling on my own since I was 13. I'm 18 now. And what happened is I decided when I was in France in an exchange program that I wanted to go to Canada. And so my parents said, okay, so we're in Canada. And I just started looking up provinces. The only places I knew were Toronto and Montreal.
Yes.
Because I had family there and we visited Toronto and Montreal all the time. Mm-hmm. But then I ended up seeing this ad for a boarding school online in Nova Scotia. And I looked up Nova Scotia. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I want to end up there. So I said, I want to go to Nova Scotia. My parents were like, okay. So I did, and eventually I figured out that there was a really good music scene here, and I actually met Darren Arsenault through his partner's mom.
My partner's mom.
Yeah, because she was the librarian. Oh no, the art teacher. Art teacher at Parkview.
Okay.
Yeah, which is where I was at for a little while, and so she said, "You got to meet Darren." She heard me playing. She's like, "You got to meet Darren." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna meet Darren." So it's basically been, staying in Lunenburg for about 5 months and meeting all the local musicians and realizing I love the music scene here and also becoming artist in residence at St. John's Anglican Church, the one that burnt down in Lunenburg.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a phenomenal pipe organ and piano in there, really nice acoustics. So it's like everything is as perfect as it could possibly be for me. So I've decided to stay here for a little while.
Well, that's great. Well, we're very, very happy to be featuring both your talents here in the studio tonight.
Cheers,
I'm going to turn things back over to you. What are you going to play for us next?
Well, I don't know. We should point out, too, that Afraaz and I have just met it's been about a month or so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think we may have played these songs once or twice before, but let's try that one. It's a song, I don't know, I wanted to write something kind of Latin-y, and I tend to write love songs. It's about nobody in particular, but it's pretty romantic, I think. I don't know. That's not the right chord, but it's called Sweet Melody. And when I introduce this song, usually I introduce it as something that I may have stolen from Ricky Ricardo.
Okay. Duly noted.
So, darling, what's on your mind? Are you drifting along with this gentle rhyme to this sweet, sweet melody? Go deep within your heart. scent of the song hangs in the air. Well, that's okay, darling, there's nobody there. Just a sweet, sweet melody floating within your heart. I kiss your lips, you hold me tight. Just a scene with two lovers who dance in the night to this sweet, sweet melody floating within your heart. In your heart. Thank you kindly.
And what was the name of that one again?
That was called Sweet Melody.
Sweet Melody. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. I want to know, Darren, you're in here tonight. You brought your electric guitar, you brought your acoustic guitar, and you brought your banjo.
Yes.
I'm wondering, did you always play guitar or did you start on something else?
I started on something else. Yes, I was a drummer originally. I used to, my mother kept catching me banging on the hi-fi when I was a kid, listening to the Hank Williams 8-track shoved in there, and I was like banging on the 8-track player. And also my brother had a kind of a pseudo band going, and they used to leave their instruments in the dining room, and there was a drum set there, and she caught me banging away on those from time to time. And I think she might have said to my dad, Al, I think we need to get Darren a drum set. And so eventually they got me a drum set. They enrolled me in some drum lessons. Started taking them when I was 7. And I was really into, of course, being 7 in 67, I was into, of course, John Bonham, Ringo Starr, and the likes. And also one of my other favorite drummers was Gene Krupa.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. And while we're on the drumming topic, I was enrolled also in the Brampton Majorette and Drum Corps. A little known fact about Darren Arsenault, but he's so proud of it. I marched in the Santa Claus Parade, the Grey Cup Parade, all the big parades. And my parents would be on the side of the road watching me, and my mom would lean over to my dad and say, "Look, Al, Darren's the only one in step." Thank you very much. Anyways, yeah, it was a pretty cool band to be in. It taught me a lot about music and rhythm, and people say that I have a fairly strong rhythm side of me, and I think I learned a lot about that by learning military drumming. And also, I would like to say we were the Canadian champions 4 years in a row, and the Ontario champions 3 years in a row. Horn blowed.
Took home the title.
He did.
And what about with you, Afraaz? You're in here playing percussion tonight, the drum kit. You brought your tablas with you. You also have a djembe here. Did you start off as a percussionist, or did you start with something else?
I did, actually. My parents noticed that I always was tapping on things. Like, it was always pots and pans. Those are my first instruments.
Great instruments.
Indeed, I concur.
You should have a pot and pan jam later on.
We should.
All right.
We should. Anyway, so my parents eventually were like, okay, he needs to drum, so let's get him drums. So they got me my first pair of tabla, very small. I actually have my first tabla sitting there, right there. It's a small one. Mm-hmm. It's tuned up very high. Yeah, it's a cute little thing. So that's what I learned on. So I studied tabla for about 8 years with my guru. And for the first sort of 2 years of playing, my hands were too small to even play the drums. So what the guru would do is he would just recite entire compositions into my ear. Mm-hmm. So, for example, because everything that you play on the tabla is like rhythmic solfege. Like, instead of do, re, mi, fa, so, everything has its own name.
Yes.
So, for example, I'm just going to make up a composition here. Dhage da tina kadin, dhage da tina kadin, takada din titikidakadikana da. So he would just recite that composition to me. So basically, I have a library of over 10,000 different compositions from all throughout the the ages and from many different schools, because my tabla guru was fortunately very eclectic. He'd studied with some really interesting people and from many different schools of tabla playing. So I was the beneficiary of that, I suppose.
It's an alphabet, is it not?
It is, yeah. It
Yes,
basically
they call
is.
it an alphabet.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no written notation either. Like, I mean, some people have started to improvise writing, some of these compositions out, but there's no formal notation.
So it's more of an oral tradition, and that
Exactly.
someone has to recite it and you have to listen. It's
Exactly.
not notated like traditional music.
Exactly. In fact, my my tabla teacher, discouraged me from writing anything down. It was all about memorizing the whole thing.
Yeah, do it like the old school way. Don't try to flout convention or anything with that.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah. It's very traditional, but I mean, I've always been unorthodox, so
Well,
a rule breaker.
We're going to get into a little bit of that later, but I think we got time for one more song before the break. What are you gentlemen going to play for us next?
We'll break out the other guitar here.
They're switching instruments.
We are switching instruments. I was playing my $225 Dan Electro, which I just love. There's actually no wood on that guitar whatsoever. Which what? Oh, I don't know. I never know. No, I'm kidding. How about we do? Well, this guitar here is a 1928 Epiphone Triumph,
Ooh.
and you may not be able to see this out in Radio Land, but the duct tape on it isn't even. It's now vintage. It's been on it so long.
Vintage duct tape, retro duct tape.
And this guitar is an arch top, and it would have been used in orchestras back in the late 20s, early 30s, and but it needs a neck job, so it's pretty much unplayable. It's barely fingerable, but what it works best as is a slide guitar. Yeah, and that's just acoustically.
Actually, we should mention that when we jammed at the church,
Yes.
we used the fact that this was in D to create a drone.
Yes.
So we depressed one of the pedals in the organ, the D pedal, and then we set it up to have like a wah.
It was fat and juicy.
It was. It was indeed, and I tuned the tabla to D as well, so everything was in that key. It was quite wonderful.
Awesome.
And also, listeners out there in Radio Land at Cove FM 88.7 on your dial, check out Afraaz Mulji's Facebook or my Facebook, Darren Arsenault Facebook, and there's a whole bunch of live feeds that we've been doing that you can check out if you want to get a visual or hear what we did at the church there. And if you do that, turn it up.
Yeah, we'll recap all that and make sure that people know where to access music and more information about you guys. We'll hit that at the end of the show. But I'll turn that over to you guys.
This is a song about a dog. Well, now ain't no comfort in this chain. Each rattling leg rings in my brain. I remember a time when I was free. Well, now it's just that chain of me. Yes, and I wanna run. Long gone running. Long gone running. Well, I see you at night on one side. Well, I got no room to cover my hide. Will I ever feel that warmth again? 'Cause there ain't no comfort in this chain. Yes, and I wanna run. Long gone running. Long gone running. Well, the wind just howls up and down this road. Well, I don't know where either goes. I remember a time when I was free. Well, now it's just that chain to me. Yes, and I'm on a road, long gone running. Long gone running.
All right.
Thanks, you guys. I had a dog living across the street from me one time, and it was.
Welcome back to the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM, where tonight I am pleased to be presenting the music of Darren Arsenault and Afraaz Mulji. Thanks for joining us again tonight, guys.
Nice to be here.
And Darren, before we had the break, what song did you play for us before the break?
That was called Ain't No Comfort.
Ain't No Comfort. And I have, in preparing for the episode and reading over things, I understand that you have over 200 compositions to your name that you have written, over 200. I was wondering if you remember what the first composition you wrote was.
Well, it's actually over 300 now, but
Over 300. Holy
I got to
smokes.
update my promo. The first song I wrote was Your Love is Like a Roadblock, and it's a terrible song. Here's how it went originally. Your love is like a roadblock, honey. And I wrote that. Sorry. But having lived with it for several years and not playing it.
Darren,
What?
I forgive you.
Thanks, man. Anyways, I decided it was not a folk song. It was more of a country song, and I changed it into something more like this, which I still don't play because it's still a crappy song. But it's a song I've written that could be in the 300. I don't know. Or just try to, you got to write a lot of bad songs to write some good ones.
Yeah, so sort of eventually, the more you write, eventually you're going to get one that's gold.
Yeah, well, Picasso probably didn't start off, with a really good painting. You never know. But I changed it into something like this. Your love is like a roadblock, honey. Can't break through or get away. Well, I can't resist this day, but I got to get away. Let that highway ride me on out. If you throw this chord in at the end of any song in the key of E,
Makes it sound like you know what you're doing.
And
I don't.
What what about with you, Afraaz? I know that you've done a lot of collaboration and a lot of songwriting yourself. What was the first song that you wrote, and what instrument did you write it for?
Well, it was a composition on tabla, and it was an assignment from my tabla teacher, who said, I want you to compose something. Here are the syllables I want you to use, and group them together. And so it was dha dha ke na te te. That was my composition.
That's a syllable?
Te te. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And then na, and this is ke, and this is dha.
It's important not to put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, isn't it?
It is indeed, beta. I'm telling you, it is very important. Very important.
Very important.
I'm telling you, it is very important.
So, Afraaz, we're going to turn this over to you for a song. You've got a song, an original composition called Cascading Reflections. What is that song about before you play it for us?
Well, it was, the idea came to me when I was standing, looking at water. It was a lake, very beautiful, and I saw a stone plop into the river, and I was thinking, reflections, cascading reflections. That's a great song. That's a great piece. I got to sit down and write it. And initially, I wanted to do it on piano. So actually, this exists in two versions. There's a piano version, which is released online, and then the tabla version. The tabla version came first, though, just to be clear. And so basically, I'm taking an idea, a very long idea, and then it's getting shorter and shorter, and I'm inserting phrases into the playing. And what Darren and I are going to do is we're going to have like a little bit of a dialogue. I'm going to play something. He's going to respond however he's going to respond.
And I don't know the alphabet.
He does not. He does not. But fortunately, he's not as incompetent as he looks. So.
All right, well, I'm going to turn things back over to you. This is Cascading Reflections.
It is indeed.
And we didn't even take drugs.
No, we didn't take drugs.
No.
You don't need drugs to enjoy something like that. Maybe just to enhance it, maybe.
As Dally said, I don't do drugs. I am drugs.
So that was Cascading Reflections by Afraaz Mulji, original composition featuring Darren Arsenault on the guitar. And I'm sort of wondering, Afraaz, how has traveling, where you've been so many places and spent so much of your life traveling, how has that influenced your music and your songwriting?
Well, my style is very eclectic as a result of my traveling, because I learn and I take from all the different musical traditions of the world, and I think that it's been a great privilege for me to experience how people think and how people make music and how they communicate in all these different cultures, because music is a language at the end of the day, and being able to hear and experience all these different versions of this same universal language has impacted my playing to the point where now when someone asks me, so what genres do you play, or what kind of music do you play, it's like,
What don't I play?
well, yeah, that's a better question. That is a better question, and it's the same thing with musical instruments. Depending on where I went, I played the instruments of the area and I learned how to play those instruments, but I didn't master all those instruments because of course that some of them take a lifetime, but the ones that I did master, I took whatever the other instruments ideas or techniques were, and I implemented on the instruments I do play very, very well.
Yes.
Like, for example, on the kit, I use a lot of Tanzanian ideas, a lot of polyrhythmic ideas.
Yes.
That could be one rhythm that's going on. At the same time, I could do da-da-da on the cowbell. And then on the hi-hat, I could be going click, 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 click.
Okay.
Click, click. So you've got this juxtaposition going on, and that's very customary in Tanzania. Like that kind of playing is the norm. So my brain actually is used to thinking in that way. My brain doesn't really think linearly. Like, in Western music, it's 4/4, and you've got 4 beats in a bar, and it's a line.
Yeah.
Well, I always think in cycles, because everything on the tabla is cyclic.
Mm-hmm.
The number of beats. The simplest composition is 3 beats. The longest one is 128 beats.
That's a lot of beats.
That's a lot. It is a lot of beats. And so everything that I think about is in cycles and it's in layers. I don't think linear.
As one of my heroes pointed out, John Hartford, music is based on repetition. Style is based on limitations. You're not very limited.
I try not to be.
Hey, while we're talking about this whole, the alphabet of the tabla and stuff.
Yes.
We've been doing some jamming lately and stuff, and I realized something too. As a guitar player, like tabla players have the bang stuff, right? But when guitar players, like when a lead guitar player tries to speak to another guitar player and you're trying to explain a lead solo,
Yeah.
you can, if you're gonna go like, you might explain that as bow 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 bow. Now,
Yeah.
that's what guitar players. We have our own language as well. We should probably do a jam sometime where we just like, you do the ticka 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 thing and I'll do the chicka bow bow chicka bow bow bow.
Darren and Afraaz a cappella.
Actually, you know what? Let's do that for a minute here.
No.
I dare you. Come on. It'll be the first time it's ever been done. No.
We are on radio,
We are on radio.
All
so
right.
let's
Okay.
speak on tape.
Is it going to be a country song?
Let's.
It's in 4/4, right?
Okay. Are you really limiting me? No, I'm kidding. No. Okay. I don't know. Let's do it.
Chicka bow 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 bow. Chicka bow bow bow. Bow 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 down. Chicka bow bow bow. Okay, that's all you get, Radio Land. We'll work
You
on
heard
this
it
one.
here first on the Conquerall Mills Music Show.
I mean, once we get it, something established. That's actually a good dialogue.
Maybe not. I don't know.
No, we could do it.
All right, we can do it.
Be experimental. I'm very experimental. And you know what? Honestly,
I imagine, and fiddle players probably have their own very own language as well.
And sitar
Bagpipe players, I would hate to hear that language.
like the bagpipe players. Well,
Sorry, Kate
it's
Breton.
probably very obnoxious. Probably and it's very
Bagpipe,
loud.
bagpipe. They're great. Bagpipes are so great.
They are.
They're almost as good as the banjo. I had a petition going around Cape Breton for a while there to get this national instrument change from the fiddle to the banjo. I got like 26 signatures so far.
Okay. Well, good luck with that, Darren.
And
I need it, I think.
in a similar vein to the question that I just asked Afraaz, I'm wondering, Darren, where do you draw your inspiration from when it comes to writing and composing music? What well do you tap for that?
Oh, I would have to say emotions, feelings, that kind of stuff. I'm seriously, I write lyrics every day. Some of it's good, not all of it, but I like rhyming, and I find my inspiration for lyrics is very love-centered, love-based, and hurtin', love, country, folk, blues, jazz. It's all very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, in terms of hearing more emotion and folk, jazz, blues, tabla music, and drum music, why don't we get you guys to play us another song?
we could probably do that.
Do something with brushes, something.
Well, I have a banjo on my knee right now. I don't know what we can do here. Here's a song that I wrote when I was busking. It didn't have drums in it when I wrote it.
He always
Good-
takes
good
shots
smile.
at me, and I have to take this with grace. Not easy.
It'll have drums in it tonight.
It will, apparently. All right, okay, here it comes. Now, it's very soft in the beginning, and Afraaz has never played this before with me, so we're just going to do a little jam here, I guess. Thanks, you guys. No, I don't even have a name for that song.
It sounded a little bit similar.
Well, style is based on limitations.
So that one would be just an untitled piece as far as you're concerned?
It is. It's just something I used to play all the time out in the streets, kind of a song that you can play with. And
Nice
play
little
for-
pick and ditty there.
Yeah, it's a happy song. It's one of the great things about the banjo for busking. It's a happy instrument, and it's loud.
Mhm. Definitely carries. People notice it, and you can't really be sad when someone's playing a banjo. This is my sort of mantra for life: is can't really make a banjo sound too sad.
That's one of the reasons I feel blessed to have been able to learn a little bit of banjo and put that out there.
Well, we have to actually take our last break here on the Conquerall Mills Music Show. We will be back with more music and conversation with Darren and Afraaz after these messages.
Yeah.
And we are back live off the floor at Conquerall Music for the Conquerall Mills Music Show on 88.7 Cove FM with my guests tonight, Darren Arsenault and Afraaz Mulji.
Yeah. Well, I would like to add to that if anyone out there is looking for a place to record, this is one awesome studio.
Oh, thanks so much, guys.
Check out Stefan's
Young budding musicians.
website.
Yes, come on out here and record.
You heard it from Darren and Afraaz. They said come here and record. So,
Conquerall Music Studios. Look it up.
what are you going to play for us next, guys?
Well, apparently one of the many thousands of people in the audience tonight requested some country music.
Indeed.
I do write country music.
And I've got to make sure it has enough cowbell.
No. In fact, don't use sticks on this one, okay?
Okay, brushes?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, oh yeah, brushes. Yeah, definitely brushes. Yeah, brushes.
You
Yeah.
want me to brush this?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, these are cool, because watch.
There you go. The brush assassin. Take it away, guys.
All right. Okay, this is a country song. It's a country swing song. I do like country swing. In the key of E6. And it's about waving goodbye from a train. Your love. Wait, that's a different song. Just kidding. Gotcha. Now, here it goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, too much.
Huh? Too much.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, today's the day I left you at the station. When I knew that you did not want me to go. As we pulled away, I'm waving from the last car. Well, can't you hear that lonesome whistle blow? So helplessly we just keep getting smaller. Till only just a speck of you remains. Pretty soon you disappear completely. Yes, and I am all alone upon this train. Well, now I can still see your face behind the window. We're fading with the rumble of the train. Try not to show that I am getting lonesome. Got to hide this weary aching in my brain. So helplessly we just keep getting smaller. But only just a speck of you remains. Pretty soon you disappear completely. Yes, and I am all alone upon this train. Yes, and I am all alone upon this train. Thanks, you guys.
That was a good little country ripper right there. What was the name of that one, Darren?
That was it's called Station.
Station. And is that original composition of yours?
That's an original composition of mine. You can probably find it out there in YouTube land. There's a whole bunch of my stuff out there, and check it out.
Excellent. So I know that there was an article in the paper last week, I think it was, discussing the project that you and Afraaz and is it Steve Sim involved with that as well? Steb Sly?
Yeah, actually, that Darren hasn't been involved yet, but we're going to try to get him involved. No, we are going to get him involved.
No way, man.
At one point or another for lyrics. But yeah, that's me and Steve. Yeah, we're doing a collaboration together. And what we're doing is we're recording a whole bunch of really interesting samples and sounds, so creating a sound library.
Yes.
And so basically the idea is we're going to release a 4-song cycle, and it's going to be like a sound collage and just a big fusion project. and it involves me playing, things on the piano, organ, tabla, djembe, drum kit, sampling machines, synthesizers. It's crazy. And then Steve, being the amazing producer that he is, he's gonna put this all together and make it make sense.
Excellent. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet with Steve before, and I've been to his studio with all of his electronic instruments and all the analog
cool.
goodness that he has. It's pretty nifty.
It is, and we actually did a few live streams from there as well, so you could find that on Facebook too.
Excellent. And like I said, as we get towards the end of the show, I'll
Yep.
make sure we touch and make sure everyone knows where to find all that information for you guys.
Yep.
And Darren, I know over the last couple years, you've been organizing the Le Havre Folk Festival.
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it is a fundraiser for the Fort Point Museum, a very important piece of history in these here parts. We're on our 11th annual this year.
11 years that you've been doing it, eh?
It's the 11th or 12th. Anyways, it's been a great run, and we pretty much we try to have at least 80% local Nova Scotia musicians. A lot of South Shore people. There's a lot of regulars that come there. Like Jamie Younger, Caleb Miles, Kick and Mule Band, myself. The list goes on. There's so much great entertainment here in the South Shore, or in Nova Scotia in general. And so it's always on the Sunday of the Labor Day weekend in September. And it's a great cause. I hope y'all can come on down. Maybe even Afraaz might stick around and be there this year. And
Awesome.
It's been a lot of fun.
When you're getting up to that point, you should let me know, and I'll try to give you a plug here on the show for that and advertise that when we're coming up to that. And I'll give the plug to Cove FM too. They do have the Cove FM community calendar where you can go post events like that. So that might be worth looking into when the time comes.
I have a little story about Cove FM.
You should share that story about Cove FM since
Well,
we
I
are
have this
broadcasting
van
on
and the
Cove.
CD player doesn't work in it, and so I'm forced to listen to radio. And in my mind, there was always just one radio station that I could handle, or sometimes late at night, Q104 plays good stuff. And there was probably a couple other. Well, there's the French CBC and CBC, but I was flipping around on the radio. I think it was 2 years ago when I was doing the Atlantic Blues Festival, which will arise again. That's a whole other story. But I was flipping around and heard good music coming out of my radio, and I said, "What the hell what's going on here?"
Yeah, it's great. It's great
like-
that you.
They're playing Hank Williams, and they were playing like Bucka White, and they were playing like Glenn Miller, and it was just nice. And
Yeah, because it's not
what the hell is that all
commercials.
about? Yeah,
It's not a commercial station. It's independently run and stuff. So you got people
With taste.
With taste, exactly. Yeah. Come on, we're generalizing, but in general,
Well, I'm serious. And anyways, I was so enthused. I went right home and I found their internet station and was digging that. I actually phoned them up and said, "Thank you guys for making a radio station that doesn't suck."
Yeah,
Great station. I'm really happy to be on Cove FM right now, and thank you, Stefan, for doing what you're doing. It's a great contribution of local and, just local music, and
It is,
you're doing it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, guys. And, obviously a big thanks to Cove, too. They gave me my shot to put the show on the air. And, I'm not sure they knew what they were getting into when I first said I want to put a show on, because they didn't realize I was going to be subjecting people to my voice for an hour-long show. But that's why we get good musicians in, to take all that workload off me and showcase you guys. So,
But you do a great job, man. Like as Darren said, man, like you're doing some great work here, and both of us really appreciate having us over here, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you so much. Well, you guys are keeping me on my toes tonight with all your instrument switching and your bad jokes and all this stuff. So,
Hey, we
in
haven't told
the
any bad
interest-
jokes yet.
Hey, they're not
Oh,
bad
so
jokes.
it's time for a bad joke,
Come on,
is it?
It's not a bad joke.
Why is everyone getting up and leaving now? What did
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
Oh.
But hey, you know why I switched from playing piano to organ? 'Cause
Why?
I realized it wasn't my forte.
Boom, boom. All right. Okay. No more jokes. No more talking. I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's have some more music. What are you going to play for us next,
Awesome.
guys?
The next tune that we're gonna be playing, it's called Antiphonary, and it's the idea is it's a bunch of echoes, and again it's gonna involve Darren, and he's gonna be listening, and we'll see what we can come up with here.
You're a brave audience.
That's awesome. That's one of the nice things about having a show is that you get to showcase different styles of music, and it's nifty that you guys haven't been playing together all that long, yet you can sit there and follow each other and go along with each other. So
I'm not sure if we were following each other there, but
you're taking jazz to strange new places.
well, there's a form of music that Afraaz and I actually dabble in. It's called atonal music, and it is atonal music is music with no time signature or key.
So the art of dissonance almost a little bit in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it's really fun to do. And if you're well, if you're a good musician, it's really fun to do, and if you're a crappy musician, it's fun to do because there's no time signature or key, so you can't make mistakes.
Although one of the things that you can do is like what I was doing there, I was doing many different time signatures and time changes. Actually, I get a lot of inspiration from John Zorn. Listening to his band go at it, and they've got these 10-second micro songs, I guess you call them, and different. They'll do a little bit of country, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of rock, and then just noise, and it's just like growling and squealing saxophones. It's like it's a really interesting combination, and that's where I got a lot of my inspiration for sort of going into the experimental avant-garde. Actually, a buddy of mine called John Janigan Mills, he's currently in Halifax. Shout out to you, buddy. He got me really interested. He got me really interested in a lot of experimental music, math rock, crazy time signatures. I was already interested in that, but I didn't think it was, sort of possible in Western music.
Yes.
And then I was like, wait a minute, this all exists. Where have I been? What have I been looking at?
10-second songs? You could write a lot of songs that way.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, because you find gems that pop out of the noise, sometimes. I mean, that's the thing that Steve and I are doing too, is a lot of it's just improvised experiments, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens is, through all the experiments, there come some really brilliant riffs and ideas and rhythms. And then when you just chop them up and you layer them together, you've got the making of a brilliant song.
Want to hear a great riff?
Go ahead.
Wow. No.
That's it.
That's the riff.
That is the quintessential bluegrass riff. We're not going to do that song, though.
Yeah.
Comes from
You want to do Pachelbel's Bells Canon, my friend?
You seem to be wanting me to do that song.
I love that song,
Really?
man. It's brilliant. For those of you who don't know, I think it's one of Darren's most brilliant little ideas because it's a classical piece, Pachelbel's Bells Canon, and it's brilliant because it's fusion. I love fusion. Anybody who knows me would tell you that I love fusion.
So if there's any classical music lovers out there in Radio Land,
any purists,
you might want to turn your radio off now.
Correct. If you're a purist, please do yourself a favor, turn the radio off.
It's not Taco Bell's Canon. It is Taco Bell's Canon.
Taco Bell's Canon. It's got a bunch of names too.
Or Paco Bell's Nightmare.
Taco Bell's Nightmare. Yep.
Well, I'll try it.
Indeed.
All right. It is indeed. Oh, indeed, right. Stop. All right. We warned you.
Pachelbel's Canon featuring the tabla and the banjo. I don't think I've heard it quite done in that way before.
Actually, a lot of things that people don't know about classical music. A lot of it was written on the banjo and tabla, and then transposed to all that symphony orchestra stuff.
I mean, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, man, they were They were listening to tabla. Beep. Sorry.
Oh, that's the first time I'm gonna have to beep a swear out of my show.
Right there, I can say I'm the first one that did.
Oh my.
Oh man, that's funny.
So, unfortunately, we are at the end of our time for the
Oh,
show.
no.
So, just quickly before we wrap up, Darren, if people want to hear more of your music or find out more about you, where can they go find that?
Come visit me.
Come visit you.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Well, you can, but I have a really awesome gig going on these days, and it's at a very awesome music venue, and it happens to be right here local, but right down here in my home bay,
Lodel.
49 Lifton, and it is at a very awesome place called the Matthias Bistro.
Oh, okay.
And I am there pretty much every Saturday, and it's the most fun gig that I've had in a long time, and also on Friday nights, I believe a guest of yours coming up shortly, Mr. Ken Voita. He plays there on Fridays. I play, if that's for me, I'm not here. And I hope maybe it's Matthias Bistro. I don't know. But anyways, go to Matthias Bistro to catch live music. It's one of the only places in this county that you can go and catch live music regularly. And I'll be there this Saturday. Oh, actually, I guess this is airing on Wednesday. So it still works. I'll be there this Saturday. Anyways, yeah. Catch me there. Catch the Darren Arsenault Trio. We play around here and there, and looking forward to doing a whole bunch of shows with Mr. Ken Voita, and would definitely like to say thank you, Stefan, for making this all happen.
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you,
in.
Afraaz.
And
it's been fun, man.
And Afraaz, for people who want to know more about you and check out your music, where can they go for that quickly?
My website is afraazmulji.com, afraazmulji.com. I also have a Facebook artist page, which you should like and check out. We have a whole bunch of live streams on there, and whenever I'm doing a gig or a concert or whatever, it all goes onto the Facebook page. So that's where you should check out my music.
All right, so that was our show for this evening. Thank you very much to Darren and Afraaz for coming in. Let's give them another round of applause, guys.
And thank you, Stefan.
And as always, a big thank you to our live studio audience and our listeners at home. The Conquerall Mills Music Show is produced, hosted, mixed, and recorded by Stefan Ramey with the assistance of Adam Fancy, who is our engineer in the control room tonight. Please tune in next week for more great music on the Conquerall Mills Music Show. And please keep it tuned to Cove FM for Time Machine with Bob McDonald at 9 p.m. Take it away, Darren and Afraaz.